Moving on really quickly, speaking about someone who's also been in the public light and in the dough for a long time, or at least in the fame for a long time, Dennis Ombachi. Formerly known for his prowess in his rugby skills. Like Mandem's played rugby for a while. Yo,
Yeah.
Safari Sevens tumewaona. Unaona huku tulikuwa na wao
He's represented the
tukiwaangalia.
country.
He really has, not just locally but internationally, yeah. But at some point, once you get to understand the unfortunate lives of sportsmen, especially in this country. We've seen even, what was her name, Congestina,
Yeah.
and her situation after she won so many titles for the country. Now, all these injuries, they
Mike Sonko
start,
is helping her out.
the injuries start to take a toll on you, but like he's only one. What about the many
Yeah,
others? Do
the
you know
other
what I mean?
athletes, yeah.
So anyway, for many sportsmen or sports people or sports personalities, after they retire, not only are you now nursing all the injuries you've had over time, you are now also realizing it's the culture shock of your celebrity status is gone. Your attention, all the attention that you used to get, is gone.
Money.
The money, the kinds of social circles and social events you would attend simply because of your status during your celebrity.
Peak.
Yes, it becomes a little and sometimes even disappears altogether.
Yeah.
So oftentimes you find that people go into spaces where you're kind of starting to figure out who you are. And this was the journey for Dennis Ombachi. He started doing cooking videos here and there.
Yeah.
We all would know him by chop onions, done. Tomatoes, diced, done. Chicken, tossed, wrapped around, put in, done. And it became one of those things where we would follow him for the recipes. But very recently, he's become even more popular because of that done. His
Yeah.
sound has made him even more popular. So he's become a TikTok sensation, Instagram, he's all over the place. He's getting ads from big brands. Kama ujamona akipack kuku, by there I don't know where you have been. Yeah? Anyway,
I followed him because of the video he did washing his house. I was like, why is a man making, house chores so
look
attractive?
so attractive, yeah?
Like he cleaned his house so well. I was like, immediately yes.
Yeah.
Immediately yes.
Dennis Ombachi. Anyway, so apparently now he's trying to tell us about a few things that occurred after his celebrity as a rugby player, but before his celebrity as a TikToker, right, or as a social media personality. Apparently, he went through 2 suicide attempts, and during the first diagnosis, he was actually diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and this is one of those things where it becomes like you already feel confused and there's a lot happening, but once you put a label on it, it now becomes like, by the way, it's really, I have a problem. It now dawns on you heavily that, by the way, something is definitely wrong with me. He was put on medication. He wasn't very consistent with medication, and so the second suicide attempt happened when his girlfriend, was heavily pregnant with the first child, just about to actually be in labor. She had to take him to the hospital because he tried to slit his wrist with a tile when he was working outside in his house, right? Long story short, a lot of his friends came together and tried to talk to him out of these attempts. He started becoming more keen on taking his medication, and he also became very avid a watcher of cooking shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And his passion for cooking stemmed from there. And now look at him, the roaming chef. How amazing a story, right? Do you know how crazy it is for you not only to become a celebrity once, but to become a celebrity twice?
It's crazy.
Like in your lifetime, you've done 2 things so well that people associate those things with you.
Yeah.
That's wild.
True.
That's kudos to you, man,
Yeah.
for not taking that light away from yourself and finding a new way of diversing it. I don't know. It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's one of those success stories, especially when it comes to Kenyan sports, because we are always hearing about the downside. We're always hearing about
Biko
an
Adema.
athlete who's now struggling, who's now asking for donations, who's now asking for all of these things. But, it's all about working on yourself and figuring out, okay, this didn't work out. I can no longer go back to this because of my injuries and all of these things. What can I do? What can I excel at? And he's just a success story, to be honest. And we're very proud of you. He has won a few awards just because of the content he's putting out. I have seen more rugby players, you know, putting themselves out there. We no longer want to hear, you know, very crazy stories, especially when it comes to rugby players, because
They be doing a lot.
kuna reputation going on. But we're really happy for you, Dennis. We're proud of you. Keep doing what you're doing, okay? And we love your two sons. As in, is it a son and a daughter?
Yeah, they
the
have
son
2 kids
appears
now.
more on the content, you know, and I just love him. He anakulanga pilipili. Speaking of people who are not
That was random.
yeah, like this kid straight up eats pilipili. No nonsense, okay? Speaking of people who we need to put under the microscope, it's just men in general. Because for the longest time possible, there's been this conversation, or rather this debate, that men are more predisposed to cheating and being polygamous. People saying as far as there's no one man that is absolutely monogamous. And it's become so, you know, drilled into our brains that people now believe that a man cannot be faithful to one woman and it cannot work out in a monogamous situation. However, there's one foul shy who's calling out this nonsense and saying, stop blaming imaginary science over the lack of self-control. And that is exactly what it is, because men and women both crave sex and intimacy as much as the other. There's no such thing as a man wants to have more intercourse than a woman. A man is more attracted to, you know, or more inclined to have an accident and have an affair than a woman is. All of us have these urges. All of us have this, you know, feelings. All of us see someone we're attracted to, we're like, damn, I would hit that. So I just don't understand. Is it internalized misogyny where we are so inclined to believe that a man will do whatever he wants, even if he does not love you, okay? Even if he's very in love with you, he will still sleep with another woman, but still be very in love with you. And that was the conversation on the Young, Famous, and African, where Two-Face Idibia, was having this conversation at a public dinner, him and his wife and a few friends. And Baba goes on a rant on how he can have sex with anybody, regardless of the fact that he is truly in love with his wife. And it is so embarrassing for his wife to just sit there and listen to this man justify the fact that he is having intercourse with other people outside of his marriage and say that it is natural. That's just what men do. But that's a lie. Women are also attracted to other men. As in, what's the problem? What is the problem? And I think we need to deviate. We need to unlearn all of these practices, because let's be honest. Me, if I see a man and I'm like, damn, I would hit that, I would tap that. It's all about self-control. I ask myself, am I ready to lose? Am I ready to give up on the relationship I am in right now to pursue that person? And it's all about self-control. Can you control yourself enough to not have an accident, to not have an affair, to not pursue somebody when you know very well you're in a committed relationship? That is the question. It's no such thing as men are predisposed to cheating or to having multiple partners. Women can do these things too. But when we do it, we are branded as promiscuous. We are branded as, you know, you're a hoe, you're doing the most, you're having relations with all of these people. But when men do it, it's okay. That's just very problematic to me.
Anyway, socialization,
Yeah.
culturalization, especially culture,
Yeah.
and stupid things being made, stupid sentences. For example, men think about sex every 7 or 8 seconds. What kind of nonsense?
So do
What,
women.
what are you trying to say? Like, honestly, out of your whole day, that's what you're thinking. 7 seconds. Look, at the end of the day, if really your life is made of nothing else and you really have no ambitions in your life, you're gonna think about it.
Yeah.
If you have nothing going on, if you really have no focus, if there's nothing that's keeping you wide awake and busy and moving, you're going to think about it. And that's across all genders. All
Yeah.
right. Like, we've spoken about this in jest, and we've spoken about, especially when women are going through ovulation, you become an almost animalistic person. Like, your focus can be so hypersensitive to just getting it, to the point where, Mbaka, you think about it after, you're like, what was that? You know,
What was the reason?
who am I? And why did I act like that? And these things are then swept under the rug because we then assume that men are the most, I mean, their sexual conquests, their sexual association, their attachment to sex and ego needs to be consistently and constantly stroked, pun intended, constantly, to the point where we also start to make women feel like less than, or make us feel like, you know, your needs are, you can handle it, you can take it. Like, sometimes when you sit down with men and you have conversations and they're like, you can manage, you can, you've got this, I mean, you can tell yourself no, as opposed to, as in, what are we doing?
Are
If
you
we
a
all
lower
just
animal?
started,
No.
hey, what are you, a rabbit? Like, if we all started acting instinctively, if we all started acting out of natural occurrences, do you know what kind of world this would be? We're already at 7 billion. Can we please try and control these numbers? Can we please try and control the number of diseases that are going around? Can we stop making it look like it's just a man thing? It's just a male thing. It's a human thing. You have a body, you have a pulse, you have blood flowing through you. You're gonna want to get some. So let's stop making it look like it's just a man thing, okay? And for all those who still feel like it's natural and it's an instinct, it's manly,
It's instinctive.
men need to be polygamous. May you meet your match.
Uh-huh.
May you meet one who exactly thinks like you, carbon copy of your mental acuity. May you find someone who will treat you in the same way and give you the same lines that you keep feeding us on this internet. Someone who will tell you, Aki babe, you know me, I can't be with. May you find that. May that be your portion. Because at this rate, I feel like the only way to balance this out is fire for fire. May you find your match.
True.
Amen.